Hey Mama, welcome to the podcast. This is the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. Pregnancy can be a really hard season, and it was hard for me, but I found that shifting to positivity and really taking care of my mental health made a big difference. And I know it can make a big difference for you if you're willing to put a little time, effort, and thought into it. Right now, we are going through a pregnancy week by week, and we are on week 32. Let's jump into today's episode. Hi, I'm Jocelyn, fellow mom of 5 and host of the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast. I help pregnant women and mothers to find the positivity in their season of life through changing their thoughts to work for them and not against them. I help mothers find the small, doable steps in thought and action without making drastic changes to their everyday mom life. And I can help you. Let's find positivity during our pregnancies and in our motherhood together. Thanks for joining. You are getting so close, Mama. Only around 8 or so weeks left to go until you are due. Some mamas may go a little early, some mamas may go a little later, but the end is in sight. It's so exciting to get so close to being able to hold that sweet little miracle in your arms. This week with baby, their major organs are mostly fully developed except for their lungs. And I actually learned some interesting things about their lungs. So one of the things that the baby releases that helps mama go into labor helps the lungs. And so sometimes if you have a C-section or you're induced, the baby could possibly or potentially, not always, but they may have a little bit more respiratory problems at first because that hormone was not released the way it was supposed to. Now, I don't want you to get all worried about this and have it be another thing to think about because I had a C-section, I've been induced, and the babies were just fine. It's just something to think about if you are leaning towards a natural delivery. That's one of the benefits that there potentially could be, hopefully, maybe less risk for some respiratory stuff that can happen. So keep that in mind. The baby's skin is also thickening, and they keep adding those awesome little fat layers. I meant to mention this before and I forgot. They're about as long as a celery, so around 18 inches long or so, and weigh around 3 to 4 pounds. I mentioned last week that my first baby came at 31 weeks, and he weighed 3 pounds, 9 ounces. So right on track around 3 to 4 pounds at 32 weeks. Movement with the baby might start to shift a little bit. Before they had more room to kind of roll and really move, but now things are starting to get tight as they grow and gain weight. And so instead of them rolling or moving a lot that way, they may just be starting to send little punches out or little kicks, but their body is not moving quite as much simply because they just don't have quite as much room. Something that you might be dealing with that I don't remember having a lot of experience with, or maybe I just didn't know what it was called or what I was feeling, but it's called lightening crotch. And it can happen randomly and quickly when you're walking, but it can hurt pretty bad from what I read and found out. But this is caused by the baby's weight on the cervix or on the nerves that run through the pelvis. So you can get a belly support band to help with this, or you can do an open knee chest position. I actually learned that from Bridget Tyler, and her references are in the show notes. But those two things can hopefully help if you feel like you are getting some of that lightening crotch going on. A couple other things that you want to be doing or can be helpful to start doing are to eat dates and to drink a pregnancy tea. The one that they recommend is the raspberry leaf tea. This can help strengthen the uterus and potentially help prevent or help with like you not hemorrhaging after birth. So those are all good things, and it's worth a couple of dates and some of that tea to help with that. At this point, I want you to start thinking about your birth preferences. Many people have called it a birth plan, creating a birth plan. Some women go really all out and write like a 3-page birth plan. And I think I've done a whole episode on this that I will link below, but I do want to touch on it briefly, that doctors and nurses likely are not going to read your whole birth plan. And so that's when I had talked to my doula. This last pregnancy that I had, my 5th, I had a doula. I hired a doula. Well worth the money if you're thinking about a doula. And, well, at least for a good doula. Mine was amazing. And she had told me about a resource that you can do a free birth plan, but is just pictures. It basically is something that the doctors and nurses can look at quickly to get your preferences, to see where you're at as you get to the hospital, and to hopefully help you in your desires. Now, I call this desires or preferences because birth never usually goes as planned. Like, you can have preferences, but sometimes it just doesn't work that way. I had preferences with my first baby that I didn't want a C-section, but what happened? I had a C-section. And so sometimes things just don't play out the way you want them to. But sometimes they do. Like with my 5th baby, most of my preferences were met. There was one that was not met, but it ended up being okay. I really wanted to labor in the water, but I just didn't have time. So my baby came way quicker than I was expecting, and I didn't have time to try laboring in the water. So that one also didn't work out. That preference didn't work out, but all the other things did work out well the way I wanted them to. So I will put a link in the show notes to make your quick birth plan that's just pictures. It's got all the options for natural birth or epidural, baby care after. It's pretty simple, but pretty awesome. So start thinking about some of those birth preferences, because if you don't, you will be subject to what they choose for you. And that is not always best for mom and baby. So being an advocate for yourself can start with some birth preferences. If you are a new mom, maybe this is your first pregnancy or second with a different gender, be thinking about a baby shower. Baby showers are often a fun time to get together, to celebrate, to get new clothes for the baby, and stock up on diapers and things needed for a baby. Babies, potentially, there's so many things. Consumerism can really take over the market for babies. There's so many things you could buy for babies. When it comes down to it, a YouTuber I was watching the other day, she said, you know, what the baby really needs is just me. The baby just needs mama. They need to be able to nurse on mama, be close to mama, maybe have a blanket and some diapers, but that's, and some simple clothing. They don't really need all the other things. Now, some of the other things are useful, and maybe I'll do an episode on that actually, like things that are useful for newborns, and can help actually and make things better and the transition easier. But mostly, if you don't get all those things, it's okay. The baby needs you. So think about a baby shower though, if that interests you, and probably be getting that underway before you get too far along, so you have the stuff you need before little baby comes. On this podcast, I really like to encourage mental thoughts and shifting from negative to positive, and trying to find things that help you to find more positivity in pregnancy. I actually made a whole course on this. It's called the Morning Sickness Mini Course for Mental Health, and it talks about gratitude. It talks about changing the negative to the positive and pregnancy-specific affirmations. These are mini mindset exercises that I run you through to help you to find more positivity. When there's so much negativity to be felt, it's not easy. So having these guidances, these references, and these small little reminders can be really powerful to help you in your pregnancy. So the one I want to talk about today, or one of the areas I want to talk about to encourage you in your mental health, is changing the negative to the positive. Now, as you probably already know, because you are well developed in this pregnancy, is that there are a lot of negative things and side effects that you can dwell on. I have wrote down a handful of them, and we are going to talk about how we can take those negative things and change them into positive. Work on this exercise throughout the week. If you feel or find something negative in your pregnancy, try and change it to the positive. And here are some examples to help you out. So maybe the baby is moving a lot and really kicking in your ribs, or like way down in your pelvis and like kicking your bladder, it feels like. It can be almost irritating sometimes, that those little kicks, and they can hurt. But I want you to change that negative, that pain, frustration, and annoyance with those kicks to the positive. Your baby is moving. Your baby is doing good, and your baby is still alive. Unfortunately, stillborn, it still happens. Someone I know recently had a stillborn, and so your baby moving is a good sign that your baby is still aware, still there, still alive, and still doing great. And that is a positive thing. That is something to be celebrated. So that is one way to change the negative to the positive. The next negative thing I want to talk about is being tired. It can feel frustrating and annoying, maybe even stressful, that you feel tired all the time, that you are more sleepy, that you need more sleep. And instead of dwelling on the fact that you're always tired or you wish you didn't need so much sleep, I want you to think about what your body is doing. Your body is amazing, and it takes sleep. It takes extra time resting to do all the things it is doing to grow that baby. It needs energy to grow that sweet little human. And as you get that extra rest, it is doing amazing things for building your baby, which is so cool. And another way to change the negative to the positive. The last one I want to talk about is how easy it is to think, poor me. Poor me, I am uncomfortable. I am tired. I am not sleeping good. I have to pee all the time. I have pregnancy pains that are really irritating and frustrating. And it's really easy to think, poor me, this is so hard. So instead of thinking that, this is going to be hard, but you can do this. I want you to shift into thinking that pregnancy is a special gift from God. Pregnancy is a special gift from God. Pregnancy is a special gift from God. And bringing these babies into the world is a special gift from God. So this week, when you are feeling, poor me, this is so hard, I want you to use those thoughts. Pregnancy is a special gift from God. And do your best to change the negative to the positive this week in your pregnancy. I am cheering for you, Mama. Your family needs you. You need you. And God needs you in these endeavors to find more positivity in pregnancy, to find more joy in your life, and to deal with the pregnancy pains way better and with more positivity. You got this. If you need extra help, my course is in the show notes. My website is called positivityinpregnancy.com. That is also my email, positivityinpregnancy@gmail.com. If you reach out and email me, I would love to help and support you in any way I can to help you find more positivity in this pregnancy. We will chat again next time, Mama. Until next time. Thank you for being a part of the Positivity in Pregnancy and Motherhood podcast, for listening, for sharing, and most of all, for applying these tools into your own life to improve your own happiness so that you can find your own better thoughts and becoming the mother that you desire to be through taking small steps in thought and action to reach your goals. If you are a mother who has an inner desire to enjoy motherhood and pregnancy better, but you are having difficulty figuring it out, I can help you. Thanks for joining. Reach out, let's connect, and let's see you move forward in your motherhood. My name is Jocelyn, and I thank you for listening. Until next time.